I didn't expect the confession. Not then. Not in that tone. We were halfway through dinner, cold pasta, colder silence, when she leaned back in her chair, eyes shining with a confidence she didn't earn. "I had a one-night thing," she said, a smirk, a shrug, and I'd do it again. The words didn't echo. They didn't need to. They slid into the room like a blade already warmed by someone else's hand. I nodded, a small one, barely visible. Then I finished my meal. She watched me, confused. She wanted a reaction, a storm. She got nothing. Inside, something shifted, quietly, like a door unlocking in the dark. I stood up, washed the dishes, and let her keep staring at the back of my head. Her smirk faded when she realized I wasn't going to entertain her performance. But that was the moment I knew. Whatever we were before, we weren't anymore. Later, when she slipped into bed, she whispered something, maybe an apology, maybe another lie. I didn't turn to look. The ceiling said more to me that night than she did. And by morning, when she expected her usual coffee in bed, she got something else entirely. I woke before dawn, the house still quiet, the air carrying that fragile moment before daylight exposes everything. She slept curled on her side, pretending innocence even in unconsciousness. I watched her for a moment, not with love, with clarity. It wasn't the confession that marked me. It was the way she delivered it, careless, triumphant, as if cheating was a trophy she polished in the dark. For months she had been drifting, late returns, hushed texts, sudden showers after dinners with friends. I noticed, of course I noticed. People think silence equals blindness, but silence is where vision becomes sharpest. I replayed every moment of the last year, the small withdrawals, the sudden coldness, the way she guarded her phone like it was a second heartbeat. I should have confronted her earlier, but I didn't want to fight. I wanted the truth, and truth requires patience. Her confession wasn't honesty, it was provocation. A test, a push to see if I'd break. I didn't. She thought she had all the power in the room. She didn't realize I had already started quietly collecting the pieces. So I stepped out of the bedroom, letting her sleep, letting her dream whatever she told herself to justify the things she did. The betrayal wasn't news. It was only now becoming undeniable. And the part of me that once loved her simply receded, like a tide pulling back before the inevitable crash. I began simply, calmly. I checked phone records, shared numbers, repeated calls at odd hours. I traced the receipts she believed I never saw. Bars across town, rides to unfamiliar addresses. I requested access logs, bank statements, camera timestamps. Not because I was jealous, because I was done being lied to. I moved through the days with precision, each step meticulously controlled. I smiled at her jokes. I nodded at her excuses. I even kissed her goodnight. But inside, there was movement. Slow, methodical, like a machine coming alive. When she left the house claiming she had errands, I watched her exit and then opened her old laptop, still synced to the cloud she forgot existed. Photos, messages, plans made at my expense. The puzzle built itself. There was no single betrayal, there were dozens, layered, practiced, intentional. She believed I would never see her for who she truly was. But people reveal themselves in the spaces between words, and she had left me a galaxy of silence to map. I gathered everything, not for revenge, for confirmation. The truth tastes different when you verify it yourself. Each night, she returned home acting bored, annoyed, restless. Maybe she sensed something shifting in me. Maybe she didn't. I didn't rush. Suspense is more powerful when it moves at the pace of breath. And by the fifth day, I had everything I needed, every lie, every timestamp, every proof. The truth was ready. All it needed was a moment to land. The moment arrived quietly. I placed the printed reports on the table, neatly stacked, nothing dramatic. She entered the kitchen yawning, searching for the coffee she expected. Instead, she found the truth waiting. "What's this?" she asked, voice cracking at the edges. I didn't answer. I watched her read. Her face drained first, then tightened, then twisted into something between disbelief and fear. The silence that followed was thick enough to suffocate. "You looked through my stuff?" she whispered. "I verified your words," I said. Nothing more. She tried to deny it, weakly, desperately. But the evidence was exact. Dates, times, images, money spent on people who weren't me. Her breath broke before her voice did. She reached for me. I stepped back. And that tiny motion, my quiet refusal, hit harder than any shout could have. She finally understood, not just that she was caught, but that I had known, long before she opened her mouth during dinner, long before she tried to provoke me, long before she decided she was untouchable. "I can fix this," she begged. "You already did," I said, "just not in the way you think." I handed her a small envelope, documents prepared over the past few days. Her name removed, her access revoked, her comfort dismantled. Revenge doesn't need fire, it needs clarity. Her voice trembled. "You're leaving?" "No," I said. "You are." Her knees gave slightly. I didn't step forward. Let her feel it. Let her understand the weight of consequences delivered calmly. There is no louder devastation than controlled silence. When she finally left the house, with trembling hands and red-rimmed eyes, I didn't watch from the window. I didn't need to. The moment she crossed the threshold, the air changed. Lighter, cleaner, correct. I sat at the same table where she once smirked and confessed like it meant nothing. Now it was all she had left. Some betrayals crack you, others carve you sharper. Mine did the latter. As I took a slow breath, one truth settled in my chest with final, quiet certainty. I didn't lose her. I released her. And the last thing